Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar, Data Integrity by Design, How the OsmoTECH Portfolio and AGU's Smartline Data Cockpit Deliver End-to-End Compliance through Smart Integration. But first, some quick housekeeping. Please feel free to submit questions that will be answered during our Q&A session at the end of this webinar using the chat box in your control panel. If you experience any technical issues, please send a message to our team in the chat and we'll be happy to help you resolve it. Please ensure to select an audio mode using your control panel, and if you are using a headset or headphones, make sure you have selected the right audio output setting. To ensure you can hear all parts of this webinar, we recommend you use computer audio or use the GoToWebinar app on your phone. Please note that today's event is being recorded and will be sent to you within 24 hours of the conclusion of the event. Now I would like to introduce our speakers for today's event. First, we have Shweta Nair, Director of Biopharma at Advanced Instruments. Shweta is the Director of the Biopharma Osmometer Portfolio at Advanced Instruments. Bringing over a decade of experience in the biopharma and life sciences industries, since 2019, she has led the development and launch of innovative osmometer products focusing on improving accuracy, reliability, and data integrity in osmolality testing. Joining us from AGU is Jörg Lehmann, Smartline Data Cockpit Product Manager, and Jakob Hessing, Project Manager for SDC. A state-certified business economist specializing in business informatics, Jörg has been with AGU for over 20 years. In that time, he's been involved with the SDC at every level, having a hand in its initial development, serving as a project manager, and since 2017 as the SDC's product manager. Joining AGU as a project manager, Jakob has been aiding AGU's customers and partners for around 2 years, leveraging his close proximity to the SDC's processes from development to maintenance and support. Jakob serves as a main contact for all things SDC. Today's webinar will cover the following: the importance of choosing an osmometer built for data integrity, such as an OsmoTECH Portfolio osmometer, how AGU's SDC provides secure data management, audit trails, and seamless integration within a lab environment, and then a live demonstration of 2 practical integrations illustrating complete data capture, transfer, and traceability in operation. With that, I will turn it over to Shweta.
Thank you, Jared, for that warm introduction, and hello, everyone. Let's get started to speak more about the importance of choosing an osmometer built for data integrity as part of its DNA with the OsmoTECH portfolio, why that's a key compliance choice. So what is data integrity? Data integrity is that all data should be complete, consistent, and accurate throughout the entire life cycle. That is right from data generation to processing, reporting, archiving, retrieval in a few days to a few years, and finally, destruction. Now, why is data integrity so critical? It really, at the core, ensures the quality, safety, and efficacy of the drugs that are manufactured in biopharma. Now, it's not just a technical requirement, though, it's a regulatory imperative. The FDA defines it through the ALCOA++ principle. The data must be attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, accurate, complete, consistent, enduring, available, and traceable. All of this ensures that the drugs that are manufactured really are reducing any recall, loss of any data from a business continuity perspective, reducing any downtime, and the ability to truly replicate the methodology for manufacturing or best practices from one side to the other. Now, these regulations are really encompassed within the 21 CFR Part 11 for electronic signature and records, and Part 211, which is focused on CGMP requirements that talk about data backup and preventing any data loss and manipulation. Just as a note, over 65% of the FDA warning letters in the year 2018 was really cited data integrity as one of the key violations for them. So it's a key important element to be considering as part of your laboratory data management process. Now, scientific data is the most valuable asset for any biopharmaceutical company. Its integrity impacts the entire value chain from discovery to commercialization. So, for example, in a quality control laboratory where you have multiple analytical instruments which are utilized to measure the product quality, consistency of the process. One of these devices in this lab is the osmometer. It plays a very critical role in accurately measuring the osmolality of samples such as media, buffer, and even final products that are shipped to patients. Now, this measurement is vital for maintaining the proper chemical environment needed for biological processes, thus ensuring that your product is safe, the efficacy is maintained, and it meets the regulatory standards for compliance. Now, the key considerations also in choosing of the instruments, such as an osmometer, is to understand, does the instrument in itself generate and store all of the data? Can the instrument share all of that information with the ecosystem that you currently have in place, whether it be the network, a middleware, a cloud? Does this also include all of the information the instrument generates? Is it sending you all of the metadata and the raw data, or is it just cherry picking information for you to back up? And can you have a bi-directional communication with the instrument? This is becoming something that more and more customers are looking at. Customers across manufacturing workflows, for instance, are trying to limit the errors that can happen from the operators, also streamline the workflow for the operators in their busy days. So you can lock these instruments, you can send them their method or protocol to follow with the sample IDs, and the operator now can just walk up to the device and follow through. So this is possible with that bi-directional control and communication. And can these analytical instruments support that? Not just for the needs of your data integrity today, but really where you're driving to in the future. The Advanced Instruments biotech osmometers, or the OsmoTECH portfolio of osmometers, are designed for not just the robust performance and ease of use, but at its very core believes that data compliance and data management are critical in how these analytical instruments can succeed in your lab. This means that electronic signature, 21 CFR Part 11, recommended best practices such as user profiles and permissions are considered in these instruments to allow customers to check those boxes. Additionally, data compliance is great, but data management, the ability to easily access the data, is also important. As I mentioned earlier, data integrity is through the entire life cycle, so archiving and retrieval of data is a key element. The OsmoTECH portfolio of osmometers can easily connect to your network of any given variation and ensure data is backed up and secure. Let's jump a little deeper into this. So with these regulations, two key elements that come up are logins and permissions. What that means is I want to restrict or have a select group of people who have access to the instrument, and I want to be able to track who they are and have secure access for them. This is possible with unique user ID and customizable passwords. We manage users on the OsmoTECH portfolio of instruments through LDAP and LDAP-S functionalities. And permissions are a part of that. Now, this select group of individuals who have access to the instrument may not all have the same level of access. You have three different roles on the device: the administrator, the supervisor, and the operator. And you can customize what a supervisor and operator has access to and can perform on the device. Next is protection of records and audit trail. The instrument needs to be able to save data and be free from some external corruption for the life of that equipment. OsmoTECH portfolio of instruments are closed systems, and we store data throughout the entire life of the device, so it's got unlimited data storage. Additionally, all of this data is tracked and traced in the audit trail. What does this mean? You have the ability to know who performed what, when, why, easily in the audit trail for the device. So you have an electronic record of all of the activities on the instrument. You can also back up all of this information in convenient, different, flexible ways to your network. So you are protected for any unforeseen circumstances, any catastrophic event that may happen that's outside of all of our hands. And as I mentioned earlier, 21 CFR Part 11 has electronic records as a key element in its chapter. And with the OsmoTECH portfolio of osmometers, you have the ability to not only just have the user ID and password for tracking of individuals who are utilizing the instrument, but you also have second signature approval. So this is where an operator runs a test, and then you have another individual in the lab reviewing the test, and maybe a supervisor even approving it. All of that can be done electronically, ensuring you have full traceability of all of the activity on the instrument and its data. Now, data integrity and data connectivity go hand in hand. The information generated by these instruments can easily be sent to your network, your cloud, your middleware through OPC UA, which is a bidirectional communication. We have the ability to connect to a LIMS system, a network share. We also have the opportunity to use a USB for environments which are less regulated and still have the ability to use this method. And lastly, we also have an embedded web server, which is an easy way to access data remotely in a secure fashion on the device. Now, a key element here with the data integrity and data connectivity that you'll notice is the OsmoTECH portfolio of instruments are really designed at its core to ensure customers are able to have a seamless data generation to data transfer to data security throughout that process. And a key piece of that is close relationship and partnerships with vendors such as AGU. AGU with their platform are also ensuring with the same mission to serve the customers in their data integrity, data storage journey in a most seamless manner. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Jakub from the AGU team.
All right. Thank you, Shweta, for that show about data integrity. Of course, we here at AGU, we're also very interested in data integrity. And that's one of the purposes of the Smartline Data Cockpit. So before we get into any demos or things like that, let's give you a quick overview about the principle of the Smartline Data Cockpit, of the SDC. I mean, what really is a Smartline Data Cockpit? Right? If we show here this slide, you can see really the SDC is meant as a point where you collect what you get from all these great interfaces. We've already gotten today into the features of the OsmoTECH line, about all these great things that they can give you heading towards compliance with GMP and GMP5, 201 CFR Part 211 and Part 11 compliance. And the SDC really then serves as an additional purpose there to collect all these different points of data from all these different great devices in one uniform place. This brings great benefits with it. Of course, you get all that data, which is what you want in the first place, but you can also have a uniform interface to any superordinate systems or just for you to interact with. Now, since we can have this uniform interface to other systems and all these different validated interfaces to these individual devices, this really opens up varying levels of compliant automation for you, of course, but it also makes things very much easier for your user base. We're all aware that if you have a new device, you have a new software, and suddenly every operator in your lab has to learn that software. With the SDC, this becomes an easy task, since every device is handled the same by the SDC from the user perspective. But, since we're talking about using the SDC, what does that even look like?
Hey Jakob, thank you for asking. I've prepared a device that is already configured in the connection with SDC, but we want to show that the workflow is completely the same as before in the first step. So let us use the device and start a measurement. Yeah, of course we have only a test device here. It is not a lab environment. Please excuse for that. But we can show the normal workflow. So we log into the system and prepare a measurement order. That means we select the position where we want to measure. And of course we log in. After that, we execute the measurement as before, as known. So the workflow for the operator is still the same. SDC is in the background and waits for measurement results and captures all the results that are available in the interface. Additional information about the measurement, like status flags or other problems, will also be transferred with the measurement results. This, of course, is a big advantage because you can do your daily work like before, and you will be sure that all the data that you are measuring will be captured in the background. Let's have a look on the SDC side now. In the device cockpit, you can see the status of the device. Now you see a blue border. That means the analyzer is measuring. And now we are waiting for the measurement results of the analyzer. After the measurement is done, the measurement results will automatically transfer to the SDC side. The user has nothing to do with it. It is an automated workflow, so the measurement results will automatically appear here in the SDC. If you have other systems like MES, LIMS systems, it is also possible to provide the data automatically to such a system. So in this case, SDC is a kind of a black box and only provides the data from the analyzer to other systems. Now, when the measurement result appears here in the finished measurement list, you can look into the details of the measurement. This is very important if you want to approve a result, perhaps want to do an electronic signature, and of course want to check if the measurement is completely right. So if there are any problems during the measurement, you can see it in the status that there is a flag or other information next to the measurement result. Here in my demo measurement, everything is fine. So we received a completely right result without any problems. And we can provide these data to other systems or just store everything centrally in the SDC database.
All right. Thank you, Jörg, for showing us that. Of course, here we're receiving data from the device passively. That is something that we call the IS mode, which is a passive way to get data. This means that your users will just use the device as they are used to doing it anyway, and all that data gets sent to the SDC. That only works if the device is designed to send a lot of data, right? Some devices are simple and can send a lot. So a device that is designed with this in mind can obviously do more, even on a passive level. But there's ways to go beyond this, where we go into an active interface with the device. And this is what we call the laboratory mode, the LS mode. And really, this only becomes possible if you're working together with a manufacturer, which is the basis for this partnership between AGU and Advanced Instruments. We here, in our collaboration, really leverage the full force of a bidirectional interface with these devices, which allows us to do a lot more things than that you could do on your own. We can, of course, capture all the data that you already know and have seen in our previous example, but we can track additional metadata. We can import data from your other systems, and we can associate data based on that metadata. So, for example, let's say you have a sample and you have multiple devices taking measurements for that. We can associate that and have a result sent to your superordinate system, maybe your MES or LIMS, that is for a sample but combines the data of multiple devices already. But beyond that even, we can engage with different features of individual devices. We can lock a device to be used only when the SDC communicates with it. We can associate, for example, repeat measurements to a single sample, which allows you to do a lot more when it comes to data integrity and compliance in case those have to occur. We can have individual sign-offs. We can have signatures for repeat measurements. We can associate all these different samples to a process, to a batch. All these things really come to fruition with the full SDC LS mode experience. And these interfaces to these devices, especially these advanced interfaces, really lend themselves to fulfilling that metadata in the most compliant and integral way possible. Of course, we've said it before, but I want to touch on it again. Your operators really get the most out of this because they'll see the SDC as their user interface, and it won't matter if the device in front of them is an OsmoTECH Pro or an OsmoTECH XT. To them, it is the same process, and they don't have to learn many other different systems for example, devices from other manufacturers. So consistency is, of course, king here, and your data will benefit from higher integrity because of it. So let's then go into another example where we show the workflow in which we create a measurement in the SDC and what that means for the operation of the device. Jörg, if you will.
Sure, Jakob. Let's go back into the SDC system and create a measurement order. In the pending measurement list, you just have to press the button New, and of course you have many different ways of inserting a new measurement order. The easiest way is, of course, to use a barcode. Here I use the manual mode to insert the data manually. After I inserted the sample number, you can see that we do a lookup into another database to query metadata for the sample, for example, a limb system or another system. Then, in the lower part of the dialog, we have to define what we would like to measure and on which position. For the osmometer, it is very simple what to measure, and we only have to insert the position. We now see the measurement order in the pending measurement list. In the next step, we can mark one measurement or also multiple of them if we create more, and press the Start button to start the measurement order on the device. You can see in the pending measurement list that the status of the measurement will change, so that you are informed that the measurement is already transferred to the analyzer. This is the only step you have to do in SDC. Now we can have a look on the device itself. You can see on the analyzer that the workflow is nearly the same like before. But of course you have just to log in into the system, and you will be informed that a new measurement order from SDC is available. In the next step, you pipette the sample on the position that is shown in the dialog. After confirmation, the measurement process starts as before. The measurement itself is the same like in the original workflow, but of course on the SDC side you have a look what is happening on the device itself. So if you measure multiple measurements in one step, you will be informed which result is already available and which results are pending. After the measurement is done, the measurement order disappears from the pending measurement list, and you can find the measurement results in the finished measurement list. In the finished measurement list, you can find all the information about the measurement result. As before in the IS mode, you can also see flags or other information. A big advantage of the user interface is that you can approve a result. So you can have a look in the details of a result, and after that you can sign it electronically. It is configurable in SDC depending on your workflows how many signatures are required. In my simple workflow, one signature is enough for the approval of the result. After the approval is done, also these tabs are empty. So at the end, all of the device cockpit tabs are empty. But of course nothing will be deleted in the SDC database. So if you want to investigate your results, you have multiple investigations. On the one hand, the measurement investigation, where you can see all the measurements that are done and you can filter it in a time range or on a specific device or on a specific batch. It's up to you. And additionally, you have an investigation for the samples. In the sample investigation, you can choose your desired sample. And if you look into the details of the sample, you will find on the one hand the original results of every measurement, and of course the calculated and approved results with all the necessary information like signatures or additional information. So we have a very good overview about all the measurements that are done for the same sample. If you have multiple measurements for the same sample because you are using different analyzer types, it is also shown here. This concludes our demo. I'm very thankful for your attention, and I give back to Jared.
Okay, thank you to our speakers. It looks like we're going to start our Q&A session now. Looks like several questions have come in so far. So the first question we have for the AGU team, I believe, is, can I set up many measurements at once using the SDC user interface?
Allow me to answer that question there. Thank you, Jared. So the question, ability to create multiple measurements, that's definitely possible in the SDC. What happens there is there's different options to do it. For one, in the demo just now, we saw you create a single measurement order, but that process can be repeated as many times as you'd like. However, there's also ways to import measurement orders from another superordinate system, from a measurement plan, or if you had a sampling that created a carrier that has multiple samples on it, you can create measurements for all those at the same time. So you can set up multiple measurements at the same time, and you can start them at the same time. And the SDC will take care, leveraging that bidirectional interface, to then associate the exact measurements from the device to the measurement orders in the SDC and ensure data integrity.
Great, thank you, Jakob. The next question also looks like it's for the AGU team. My instrument can adapt units. Can I do the same with the SDC user interface?
Yeah, thank you, Jared. I would like to answer it. Yes, sure. In SDC, you have to define in the master data what is your expected unit you want to see the test result in. And for that, if the analyzer sends the measurement result in a different unit, SDC can automatically do a unit conversion. That means in SDC, you will find all the results with the same unit. And for the traceability, of course, it is important that you also see the value that is coming originally from the device. So you see for the whole step, so you see the value that is coming from the device, and you see the calculated value in SDC. So everything is traceable and fine, I think.
Great, thank you, Jörg. Another question, do I have to decide between IS and LS?
I talked about it a bit during the presentation. The short answer is no, you don't have to have one or the other. You can have both. Of course, there's things to consider if you decide to go either way, or one way or the other. With the IS mode, of course, you're passively receiving data. That then just means that you're leaning on compliance features on the device. The OsmoTECH Pro, of course, you have to log in for a measurement, so that's a given. But that device is otherwise quote unquote unlocked in that sense. If you go into LS, right, you're talking about other things, because then you get the order from the device. We had a mixed setting here in the demo. Maybe you saw it, where once the measurement came in from the SDC in the LS option, that was a small lock. You could only do that measurement. You still had to log in on the device, because that's a key feature, and that stands. but that way the device could only do that one measurement. So if you're thinking about if I want to really lock down the device, there may have to be a decision there, but as a general answer, you don't have to decide. You can have a workflow that is an LS workflow, but if you spontaneously do an IS measurement, that's still possible in the setup that we showed today.
Great, yeah, thank you for that. Let's take another question. Shweta, I'm going to throw this one to you. What information can the OsmoTECH XT send bidirectionally?
Thank you, Jared. So when the OsmoTECH XT and OsmoTECH Pro, you're able to send your test results, your sample ID, the user ID, test details. So there may be information regarding how it was ran, etc. that will come through. You'd also get the system test count, so how many tests have been performed, any error codes on the device. You will get the system serial number, the software firmware versions, the last date of calibration, generally, and also any electronic signature related data will come through.
Thank you, Shweta. Another question for you, I believe. Can you speak a bit more about Advanced Instruments' close partnership with AGU?
Yeah, absolutely. So AGU and Advanced Instruments, we've been working together for quite a few years now. And our partnership is really based on close collaboration related to both of our products that we offer to customers in the biopharma space. So what that means is anytime we are updating our software or firmware on our devices due to our close relationship, we will provide an earlier release candidate to the AGU team for testing and feedback. So they're able to test that on the SDC platform and provide us with feedback on our release, and thereby have a seamless execution at the customer site. So that's one of those ways that we closely collaborate. Additionally, customers that may have both of our products in use may choose to even engage with us directly to provide feedback on optimizations, or even work with us to ensure that their workflows, how they envision in the future, are very effectively developed.
Great, thank you. Looks like a couple more questions have come through. I think this one will be for you, Shweta. Have you thought of having a USB port in front of the instrument for easy access to store/send backups, Audit Trail, etc.?
That is a great question, and thank you for that. We did consider having that a little bit more accessible after we launched the OsmoTECH XT, and therefore the OsmoTECH HT, which is our plate-based osmometer, actually does have the USB port right in the front, right below the display, very easily accessible to customers. It's something that I think we are definitely looking into as we develop our next generation of products as well.
Great. Next question for the team. If you have a combination of Osmo One and OsmoTECH instrument, will the GMP be compliant for the Osmo One with SDC implemented in the lab/factory?
So I can take that. So the Osmo One instrument was really designed for the hospital market, and therefore the ability for that device in terms of connectivity, as well as sending data and flexibility for data management, is very specific to the ecosystem for data management in a hospital. So I would say if you're looking to use an osmometer in that GMP environment, you are more likely, and in fact with SDC, your best opportunity is really to implement the OsmoTECH, because the OPCPs, the bidirectional communication, or the ability to easily integrate with the SDC platform would only be possible with the OsmoTECH portfolio. However, if you currently do have an Osmo One in your lab and you're looking to use it in the GMP space, we are happy to work with you offline and find a suitable solution.
Great, thank you. Next question. This is a two-parter. So what does data export look like on SDC when the instrument reaches data capacity? And then do measurements have to be erased, or is there a way to back up the data?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's okay. Go for it first.
Okay. Yeah. On the SDC side, right, we keep the data in our database so that you don't have to worry about filling it up. So when the instrument reaches data capacity, and Shweta will be able to talk to this, there's things on the device that you have to do. I'll let her go into detail there. On the SDC side, we keep the measurements that we get. So there's also, in the terms of backup as well, right? The SDC database can be backed up at your leisure as you want. So the data does not go anywhere, and if it's erased on the device, so long as the SDC has received it in any form, the data persists.
So the only limit that I see is your database server. So in our biggest installation, we have more than 300 analyzers connected to the system, and it is running for more than 10 years, and all the data is still available. So that means, of course, you need a big database server for reach this goal, but in the end, it is up to you. You can have the data, the full data available for all the measurements in SDC.
Yeah, and to speak about the instrument, the OsmoTECH portfolio of osmometers really does have unlimited data capacity through the life of the device. So to give you what that means in real numbers, we have a 4 gig storage, and we've done about 150,000 tests, and that takes about 4 MB space. So there's significant amount of space on the device to manage all of the data that you would generate. And if you were to ever reach that max capacity, if you're not connected to SDC, you would generally have our service engineer come on site. We would back it up for you, erase the instrument data, and so then you'll be able to continue to run that. But generally, over the course of the life of the device, you will never really reach that limit on the instrument.
Thank you, team. One more question come through. Shweta, this one will be for you. I already have an OsmoTECH XT. Is the SDC interface an upgrade or a standard function on existing systems?
Great question. So the OsmoTECH XT, the entire tech platform, actually have the capability to connect with SDC built in. So it's not an additional upgrade. You already have that capability. Of course, there may be software updates that we've done to provide some additional improvements in the efficiency of that communication. You can reach out to your local Advanced Instruments contact, and they'll be able to support you in ensuring that you have the latest version. But there really is no additional upgrade required to your current model to be able to achieve this integration.
Great, thank you. And it looks like that may have been our last question. So just want to say thank you to our speakers and thank you to everyone for joining us today. If we did not get to your question, we'll follow up with you offline. As a reminder, a recording of this webinar will be sent to you within 24 hours at the conclusion of the event. We hope you have a great rest of your day. And once again, thank you for joining.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.